Hello? Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Had the microphone set up to something else. But hello everybody. Welcome to another episode 2 of Podcast 51. Yes, this is the second episode of Podcast 51. First episode I interviewed Paul, otherwise known on YouTube as Optobotomus. Very very cool guy. We talked about comic books, we talked about the MCU, the DCU, Michael Keaton back as Batman, um, Robert Pattinson back, as Batman, not back as Batman. He's going to be Batman. And we were just talking about all this, geek stuff, nerdy stuff, and all sorts of awesomeness. But today, ironically, I did not realize this was going to be out on Halloween. I'm recording this, a few days before since I have time, since I won't be available on Saturday. But again, I'm saying every episode will be out on Saturday. But I had no idea that Halloween fell on a Saturday. And the irony is that this is the conspiracy theory / ghost story episode where I've asked people on the on my Instagram pod_cast51. If you guys have any ghost stories or conspiracy theories, send them in. And you guys did deliver. So we have, quite a few today. So that's why I wanted, because I thought I was only get like maybe one or two, but we have a lot. So hopefully you guys, enjoy. And we're going to be taking some stories from, I've asked people, can I use this story? And so we have a few people who've wrote in about some ghost stories and some conspiracy theories. So let's get started. I have a rather longer one sent in by Adrian. Thank you, Adrian, for your ghost stories. And he sent in a couple UFO stories. So let's get right into this. So this is what word for word what he sent to me, and then I'll comment on it after I read the whole thing. So he sent me because he said, I have a ghost story, and I was like, oh, what's the ghost story? And he said, so mind you, this was when I was about 9 or 10 years old or so. So this was he's probably in his 20s right now, or 20 something. So probably, mind you, 10, maybe over a decade ago. So 10 or 9 or 10 or so. And it was about maybe a year or two after my uncle had passed away. So one night I had been getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, and I was at the time sleeping in my uncle's old room where he had passed away. And at times I told him at times I had told him he's eating, often heard voices after his passing. And after a few months, it stopped. But a year later or so, around his passing, I was getting ready for bed and I heard someone call for me, like asking my name, but didn't crack a whisper. But didn't crack a whisper, but it was loud enough for me to hear. Though through me brushing my teeth and water running, I turned off the water as I filed out. So yeah, he shouted, yeah. So I was like, oh, Adrian, and it's probably louder than a whisper, but loud enough where you're brushing your teeth and you are, you know, the water's running. Of course, when you're brushing, usually your water's running, you're brushing your teeth, and you hear your name, you're gonna call, oh hey, what's going on? And he said that no response, but I went to go and check out, went to go check it out, and almost sounded like it came from the room, but the room was dark and unoccupied at the time. So I was a little confused. So I went to the kitchen and asked my grandma if she had called for me. When she said no, I was confused again, kind of spooked because she didn't call me. Who did? So I felt kind of uneasy because I live with my grandparents and my dad, but my grandma was the only one there because I think my grandpa was in the office and my dad, who I believe working, it was at night, and so he didn't make it, didn't make it easier to sleep. And the weirdest thing, like me remembering it today, it was almost sounded like my uncle in a way, because I still remember his voice, and I can still honestly say I still believe to this day that it was him called out for me, and I just don't really know why. All I know is that it was one of the unexplainable events that happened in my youth. And then I asked him, "Oh, can I share the story on my podcast?" And he said, "Yeah, go ahead. Really appreciate the story." He has, another story about a UFO stuff. He sent me some sketches. This is all audio right now, but if I get a video thing going on, I'll share that. But yeah, it's kind of weird, especially if you're, young and someone calls out your name. Uh, I haven't really had that experience. I'm not saying I do not believe in ghosts, but I don't say I do believe in ghosts. I haven't seen one, but nor do I want to see one. So, you know, but I think it's kind of reassuring that, if he thinks it's his uncle, it's his uncle, or not, maybe it could have been in his head. Maybe he just was hearing stuff. I heard that just unexplainable stuff. It's an unexplainable thing, especially when you're a kid and, you go in this dark room and no one's calling your name, and it's kind of, it's kind of spooky, it'd be kind of hard to sleep that night, especially for me as well. So even for an adult, for that to happen, it's, kind of crazy. And just the unimaginable is just crazy, and we have, a few other ghost stories, but this was, a more profound ghost, with more detail and all that stuff. Uh, and then he told me he had a UFO story. Drew me some sketches, pretty good sketches, might I say, where it basically looks like a shooting star, and then it turns into a UFO, like a disc with, the lights all over it, and then the next second it just disappears as fast as it appeared. So this one, UFOs are, big conspiracy thing, and it's just crazy to think that, oh, UFOs, that there's another life form out there, and more advanced than ours, because what other thing can, appear a disc shape, and then as soon as it appears, it disappears. Okay, so then he's explaining the thing where about the UFO. This is Adrian again, the one who, just shared the ghost story. And again, thank you for sharing your stories. Um, so me and my dad were driving out to hang out in a spot in Anaheim for one Friday evening. And we were about halfway, since we lived in Santa Ana at the time. I was looking out at the window to my right and saw what looked like a meteorite or some kind of falling firework looking thing in the sky way in the distance, leaving trails of loose fire debris in the path. Then it suddenly stopped, all joined in one singular ball of light out of nowhere. The ball started splitting into what usually UFOs look like and shot back up into the sky almost at light speed. This happened within a matter of seconds, but it was one of the unexplainable things I have seen that I could not figure out. So there's I forget what it was called. Joe Rogan's podcast, he talked about this stuff where it's like a natural phenomenon, like lightning, where it's a rare phenomenon, but it's a natural kind of phenomenon thing. Where I'm not saying this is it. I'm just saying this is what he said on his podcast. I forget which one it was, but well, it was on his podcast, but I forgot which episode it was, where he talks about like this lightning ball where it goes up, it's stationary, and then it leaves like at light speed, like kind of like lightning, does. Um, but it's kind of hard to dispute UFOs, that oh man, there's like two sides of, UFOs. I've never personally seen a UFO, but it's kind of hard to dispute UFOs that there's so many. It's not just one person saying, "Oh, there's only this is a UFO or something." There's many people who have talked about UFOs and who've talked about seeing UFOs, um, and it's kind of hard to dispute when so many people say, "Oh yeah, there is UFOs," and especially when NASA just this year released photos of what looked like a unidentified object or whatever. So it's kind of hard to dispute that UFOs don't exist, and some people probably still to this day say that they don't really exist. Um, Probably because most of the footage you see is uh, bef- you know before we had really good cameras and stuff like that, especially phone cameras before. Probably 2015, 2015, 2014. That's when camera phones started getting really good, around maybe around that time or so, um like when the iPhone started getting more popular and stuff. But before that, probably like 2007, 2008, around there, um camera phones weren't really all that good, and especially on video and stuff is not the highest quality stuff. So, and then some people, doctorate it, and some people, doctorate this stuff, doctorate that stuff. And uh, it's just kind of hard to dispute that UFOs are not real, and that just people still to this day, say that UFOs are not real. So we have some other questions, but again, this the ironic thing is, I was gonna do this conspiracy theory episode and ghost story episode, and it's just crazy to me that there is that is gonna happen on Halloween. That's just crazy to me. I swear I did not plan for it to come out on Halloween. I didn't know that Halloween was. I barely just noticed literally today. This is recorded like a few days before, but I'm trying to put it on every Saturday, and I had no idea that that just was going to be on Halloween. That's just the ironic thing. Um, I told some people to send in their conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Uh, One of them is let's see, COVID-19 was caused by an accident curse that will occur every 100 years. I guess like 100 years ago there was another quarantine kind of thing going on 100 years ago. So maybe that's someone a lot of a conspiracy theory saying that it was by accident, that every 100 years that some big thing happens. Uh Quite possible. Not sure if that's true. Another one is by the same person. There's a time travel. There's a time traveler working in the Simpson studio. This is just crazy. A lot of the stuff the Simpsons do is just crazy. That a lot of the stuff that they've predicted years and years in advance, um, it's just crazy. Like Donald Trump becoming president. Mind you, they said 2020, but it's quite possible he might be a president again. I'm not saying that he will become president again, but I'm just saying it's quite possible that he will, he's in the lead, he's in the running for, becoming, president again. So who knows? Um, and they just predicted a lot of other stuff, but that's, it was just crazy. I remember watching that episode. I think that episode came out in the year 2000. Can you just believe that in the year 2000, people are like, that's crazy. Donald Trump becoming president. That's the craziest thing. And we're living in a world where that crazy thing is a reality. So you just never know, man. You just never know. Uh, let's see. Uh, the Anunnaki, did they come and establish the Giddish as their first human king? Uh, Not too sure on I'm not too well versed on that. There's an article here. Let me pull this up really quick. Uh, yeah. So I was looking this up earlier. Let's see, Anunnaki Giddish. Let's see what. But the Anunnaki is, let's see, what is it? Oh, GILGA. So this article's on indiebound.org. Uh, but yeah, I don't really know about all this Anunnaki stuff. Probably talk about that in a future episode. I have someone who knows a lot more about that stuff. Um, Another question about ghosts. Are ghosts just glitches in our simulations? And is life a simulation? A lot of people, say that, life is a simulation. Depends who you ask and all that stuff. I personally don't believe that, but some people do. That's their prerogative to believe, that that theory. And our ghost glitches in our simulation, and I don't know. But define, the weird thing is that when you hear about ghosts, most of the ghosts that you hear about are from like the 1800s, and but maybe that's when. But there's another theory about that, like maybe that's how far they can travel back or whatever, and maybe in a few hundred years, people from now are gonna be ghosts and stuff like that. So, who knows how ghosts work? How when you see a ghost, is it just your imagination? Is it actually a really thing? Um, This is what I saw on what show was it? Ghost Hunters, I believe. Yeah, Ghost Hunters. And but this was on, their show, and this is what they said. They were going up these stairs, and if you go up some stairs and the stairs are uneven, like they're not, because stairs have to be, even, so you know you can walk easily on them. So if they're not even, there's going to be kind of, weird. So especially if you're going a dark hallway and you're going up some stairs that, are already kind of creepy, but the stairs are uneven, it's going to make it feel like an uneasy kind of feeling, especially when they're uneven. So there's explanations like that where you're already putting in your mind that you're kind of uneasy. So anything is just going to be heightened, and you're already gonna if you're already scared, it's just gonna heighten your thing. Maybe you're gonna see something that's not there. Maybe it is there, but I'm just saying this is just a theory that I have as well. That when and especially they say there's a lot of like wires or something. It makes it feel like there's someone else there, like that that much energy right there makes it feel like there's someone else there, especially if if you believe the place is haunted and you go into a space and then there's like a lot of you go up these stairs and maybe there's a lot of wires by the stairs as well, and the stairs are kind of uneven, kind of, maybe it's an old building, and it's new people move in and they put a lot of wires right there, and it's just a lot of energy. So you already think the place is haunted, and you go up these stairs and you see this stuff. This is all from Ghost Hunters episode. This is what they were saying. Um, that might explain, why why some people may think that ghosts are there. Um, this is just, I'm not too sure if that's actually true, but it does kind of make sense. That's a lot of, especially if it's a lot of wires and a lot of energy going through. Maybe you feel that energy, and maybe you feel like it's someone, there with you, and then it's actually not. It's just wires or something like that. So, again, that's just a theory. That's from, again, from Ghost Hunters episode. So, okay. But thank you for the question. These are all from Joseph from Gotham City. Gotham City. I wonder if he knows Batman. Let's see what else. What else? Are we descendants from a higher species, and why do they dive into Gilgamesh's DNA? I have no idea what that is. But are we descendants from a higher power? I don't know what you mean by a higher power. Do you mean that they smoked a lot of weed? Do you mean that a higher species, higher intelligence, higher, more powers than us? I don't know. Maybe you should have been more specific on that. Okay. So, uh, again, this is all from Joseph from Gotham City. If you know Batman, tell him I said hi. Okay, please. Uh, who knows? Some, a lot of people, uh, who are religious, say that we come from, God, and I guess in a way, he is a higher species, not in a way, but if you believe in God, if you believe in, these gods and all that stuff, and Jesus Christ, and believe in all this. I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, this is nonsense or whatever. I'm just trying to say some people don't believe in that stuff, and I'm just trying to say the people who do believe in religion, who do believe in God, who do believe in these entities, say that we came from that. So I guess if you believe in that um, that we came from him, and so that's a higher power. So, but who knows? No one really knows. But if you believe in that, that's a possibility that we come from that, and we come from, God, and whatever you believe in. There's a whole bunch of gods and a whole bunch of stuff. So whatever you believe in, that's on. But do I have the answer? No, I don't have the answer to that. Another question: was there life on Mars since H2O was found there? Um, Quite possible that there was life on Mars. Maybe I heard that like millions and millions of years ago. Um, uh, I barely passed science, so I don't really remember. But I remember hearing about that there was possibly water on Mars, but I heard that there might be microscopic life on Mars, which is still life. But I don't know if you're asking if there's aliens on if there was like you know excuse me, if there was aliens like green people with big black eyes. I don't know if that was the life, but I heard that maybe there was plants on Mars back in whoever knows how many years ago, or maybe there might be microscopic life. Um, you know, can't be viewed from the naked eye. Maybe from a microscope or something. Who knows that? If there was H2O found, there's probably maybe there is microscopic life in the water, or I don't know your definition of what kind of life there was, but I think that there probably was life, maybe like plants, maybe like microscopic life. Who knows? Who knows? But that is life. Uh, why is our technology so advanced? Our iPhone's part of alien tech. Phone's ringing. Um, why is our technology so advanced? Our iPhone's part of alien tech, and UFOs caught at H51. Uh, I don't know if well, people advance in a radical way. When oh, I need something. I want something done easier. Some people are gonna keep inventing stuff, and things are gonna advance significantly. Just in the past, probably 100 years. Just look at the telephone from. Just look at the telephone from. Again, like I was saying earlier, from like 2000, from the year 2000 to the year 2020. Look at our cell phones. Uh, the crazy fact of just the camera quality from that as well. The amount of data that you can hold on a phone, the amount of stuff you can do on your phone is basically like a computer. Can you imagine in the year 2000 that you can be watching videos on your phone? That's just crazy. In the year 2000, you would never have think, oh, we're gonna be watching videos on your phone. It's just hard to think. It feels so long ago, but that was only 20 years ago. Not even I was saying 100 years ago. I'm saying just 20 years ago. Uh, Watching a video on your phone. I don't even that's when flip phones were out, and some people still had pagers. I think my grandparents still had pagers then. They were probably a little out of date, but that's when pagers were out, and that's where flip phones were out. I still remember the Razor phone. It's just crazy the technology that advances just in the past 20 years. It's just crazy. Um, are they part of alien tech? There's some theories that they discussed this in the movie Paul, a comedic movie. Seth Rogen plays the alien Paul. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you go watch that movie. Very funny. Simon Pegg is also in it. I forgot the other guy's name. I think uh, Jack. I forget his name. But anyway, um, they discuss, Paul is an alien. I think he's from Mars or something like that, and he was holding captive where the government keeps the aliens and all that stuff, and that he created the iPhone and stuff, and he created all this cool technology. So that is a theory that some people have. There's some theories that their aliens created that the government holding technologies and stuff that we haven't even that's so advanced that we they just are not going to release it right away. They're going to release it later in the future and stuff like that. Let's see, another question. Was the Tower of Babel stargate to the heavens above? um if you watch a show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, I believe, they talk about all this, stuff about the ancient aliens that they've visited us before, um, like the pyramids. Are those things like radio antennas kind of things to the heavens above? Are those on the show they discuss if like Jesus Christ and God, are they aliens themselves? Because this is from the show. Again, this is from the show Ancient Aliens on History Channel. They were discussing that when when you see a UFO, how the how they walk down, it's like a kind of like a ramp kind of thing. They go down, and when you see people from the heavens when they come down, it's kind of like a ramp like that. Um, they have uh, higher powers. And what do the gods have? Higher powers. They have they're smarter than us. They know. Maybe they help them build this giant pyramid, and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that people think that, oh, maybe it's like kind of like a radio kind of thing to the heavens and all that stuff. And the stuff that they've drawn inside these tombs and all that stuff, maybe that looks like aliens and stuff like that. So who knows if that is true. Interesting theory. But if you like those kind of stuff, recommend you watch Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. uh very interesting stuff to think about. And they make their case. These are people who write books on this stuff. These are people who go to the tombs and study it themselves and try to see maybe they left a print, maybe they left a note, kind of a note thing. Or maybe these are people, time travelers who've come from the future and show these people future technology, and they think, oh, these people are like gods because they have better technology than us. So it's an interesting theory. uh Appearance of gnomes and elves in Mexico. So I was reading an article today. I forgot from where. Um, uh, let's see. That in South America and Central America, that there's a lot of sightings of gnomes and elves and stuff like that, and over there they call them duendes, the gnomes and all that stuff. So when the article was saying, oh, if you think about gnomes, if you think about if you see a movie and all that stuff, you think that there's these cute uh little things that you put on your garden or whatever, or these things with like overalls and they have a beard and they have a pointy hat. But um article was saying that if you most of those people in Central and South America and in Mexico, that they're kind of troublemakers, that they can shapeshift, they could make themselves invisible, that they can be from 18 inches tall to 2 to 3 feet tall. So um, that they're maybe they're not troublemakers. They've helped people through the woods. That there's stories that they've killed like livestock, that they've killed house pets or whatever, but not really any kill like any people. But they're kind of tricksters. They kind of move stuff around. They kind of play pranks and all that stuff. That they're not the uh nicest entities and all that stuff. If you've seen the movie Leprechaun, like when you think of Leprechaun, you think of, oh, he has a pot of gold and he's nice, he's giving gold away or whatever. But that they're kind of maybe like hideous kind of thing, and these gnomes or elves or whatever, and they can go invisible. Or I'm gonna have my grandpa on. He's talked about this stuff from Mexico, and that they can that maybe they're from like another dimension. That's why they can hop in and out, and you can try to catch one, but they can turn invisible. They can shapeshift. They could that they're just kind of troublemakers in a way. So that's just one of the things. But yeah, that was this episode of again, this is just crazy how it's fallen on Halloween. I just don't That's just crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. Um but again, send in your theories, send in your ghost stories. I want to I'll probably make a segment on, like I said in the last episode, I'm probably going to make a segment on I just cuz I got so many on this one, I just wanted to make an episode about it. Maybe this is a shorter episode than normal, but I'm gonna, have guests on as well. But then, at the end of the show, we'll talk about some ghost stories. We'll talk about, some unexplained stuff that's happened to you. Send it to my Instagram at pod_cast51. Send it to me in the DMs. Put it in the comment sections below. If when I put it on YouTube as well. So make sure to, hit the DMs and send that to me there. Your ghost stories, stuff that that you find unexplainable. Maybe you've seen a gnome, maybe you've seen a elf, maybe you've seen maybe you heard a whisper, maybe you heard some stuff. Make sure to use as much detail as possible, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for all who sent in. Appreciate all the ghost stories. Appreciate all the questions. I appreciate all the UFO stories. I kind of like talking about this stuff. That's what it originally was. The podcast was supposed to be about. Podcast 51, Area 51. So kind of, all that stuff. If you remember listening to the episode with Bob Lazar and Joe Rogan, that got a lot of views. Where he said that he worked in Area 51, or an adjacent place to Area 51, where he worked on like 5 different UFOs, or from like 5 different species or whatever. It's just crazy that if he's telling, some people say, oh, he's not even telling the truth, or but if he is telling the truth, that's just crazy that they have these 5 different UFOs, or maybe they have aliens or whatever, but that he was a scientist on the team, and they had to, they're trying to, backward engineer, some of this, stuff that they have on, the UFOs and stuff, to use, for technology and all that stuff. So the backwards engineer, try to re-engineer what they were doing and have some elements from. And that there was another thing from the government that they have unidentified object or whatever, that they have this craft or whatever that has elements that are not of this world. So that's just crazy. So, but make sure to subscribe, especially on the YouTube channel at Podcast 51. I really appreciate it. Make sure to send in those questions on the comment sections below. But yeah, make sure to share with a friend. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell for that notification, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Hope you guys have a good week. I know these times have been tough, especially on Monday over in Southern California. Just heavy winds, heavy fire. So hopefully everybody's safe. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. I know these are hard times, but hopefully if you listen to this podcast, it took your mind off of your daily daily grind and all that stuff. That's my goal of this podcast, is just to take people's mind off what's going on in their day-to-day stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed me talking about these conspiracy theories. Again, make sure to send those conspiracy theories in. Love you guys, and I will see you guys next Saturday.